I'm really excited. I am happy because it's hard with the NIL opportunities that are out there. A lot of the people that are leaving schools have a deal set up before they ever leave. So I would text Pat and say, "What about this one?" He said, "Coach, he's way gone, man. And that one, he's expensive." So for us to be able to get this quality of group that can get in school here, which is very difficult too, and especially the undergraduates. These guys have to have really good grades to be able to get in. So as we're learning this process, we had 5 last year, and all 5 played. 2 of them undergraduates and 3 of them graduates. Two of them were, one of them was captain. I guess Noah wasn't. He was on the leadership committee and might have been captain if he hadn't gotten hurt. But Corey Gaynor being voted a captain was a real help to our team. So we feel like that we've got a good group coming back, and this group will even enhance that. And then we've got 10 more coming in June. So that's a lot of change on your team that you feel like can help you for next year.
I asked you in San Diego about how you've gone about the whole differently now as opposed to a couple of years ago when you said you would only go after guys at the general start. How much more time as a staff, Patrick and you guys, do you put into looking for kids now than you did just a couple of years ago?
We have our priorities. We have priorities for June. If something pops up that we would need, we would still take. You have to look at your priorities compared to your numbers. We may have some guys leave after spring practice. So do you hold those spots for high school guys the next year, or do you find the right guy in the portal in June? But it is different, and what we feel like we need to do now is it's more like free agency. You need to address immediate needs, and you need to address depth, because you're losing some guys too as you gain some guys. And we're I do think in talking to the staff and talking to the guys that were in the portal for the reason that they wanted to play more, it was great for us to let them play in the bowl game. They all practiced hard. They played hard. They left here with a really good taste in their mouth. So if somebody's leaving because they're mad, if somebody's going to the NFL, they wouldn't play anyway in the bowl. But if someone's here and they're leaving because they want more playing time, I totally understand that. It's fair, as hard as they work. Then we're going to work with them to try to help them any way we can.
I don't know if it's fair to ask if this is an upgrade over what you lost. That's the way a lot of people are going to look at this. But you brought in a lot more snaps accumulated than what you lost. So how would you gauge, if you can, what went out and what came in?
Yeah, Andrew, it's a good question. I can probably answer it better in June, very honestly, because I would be saying I hope so. But we haven't coached these guys yet. We've played against a number of them. And that's one thing that you do. If you lose a guy that's not playing as much and you gain a guy that's a superstar on their team, you would hope that it upgrades your roster.
So how has your approach to transfer portal changed, Andrew, because of that? You used to say only starters. You kind of kept pretty close to that. But you have 10 now. There's a good chance not all going to start.
Yeah.
So how has that evolved? Because it's had to evolve over time.
Well, special teams this year, I bet we had, Pat, 5 walk-ons starting on special teams in the bowl game. So we need depth. And instead of just a starter, a guy that may share starting time, but all these guys have the ability to start. And we feel good about that. So, but if you have to look at your immediate needs for spring practice. I think we'll start seeing some people not have a spring game because you get people hurt. You got numbers that won't be here till June. You don't want to play all your older starters because they may get hurt, and you have to stay out there too long. So I think you'll see more like Georgia Tech, Pat said, had a little scrimmage and then had a practice. I think you'll see more of that than just spring games for the future.
Mack, you sort of alluded to this with Tez, but were some of these guys players that you had recruited out of high school and missed on and saw a second chance when they get in the portal?
Yes, I think more, Michael, than anything else, it's the fact that we had relationships with them. I didn't know Tez, but Tommy and Lonnie did from different schools. So they knew their coaches. So that helps too. Caleb Pickerel, knowing Willie, helped. When Elijah Hussey got in the portal, we've got Gary Downs that's a recruiting coordinator and running back coach at East Tennessee State. The fact that Nate McCullum had a relationship with not only Pat, but he had one with Josh Downs. And Josh could tell him what this place is like. Gary could tell Elijah what this place is like after he got in the portal. So much of this now is on relationships. And that's why if you lose a guy, you need to hug him and kiss him on the way out because you may see him again next year. I mean, it's bad, but you're not coming? Great. I'm so excited for you.
How much of the initial contact is made by them because they've already been thinking about you because of relationships, or is it by you guys?
We can't contact them.
Once they're in the portal.
In the portal, yeah. I'd say it's both, Pat. Them getting someone, usually a high school coach, probably to call us. And then immediately we've got to try to find a number to get a hold of them. So like with Elijah, we could have called Gary Downs immediately and gotten the number so we could call him. And these guys get 100 calls as soon as they go in. So it's just crazy. It's one of the reasons that Justin Olson wanted to go in this afternoon, just to see who's going to call and see what kind of interest you have. And that changes with all the guys. Some of the guys have been disappointed because they were so highly recruited in high school, and they're not as recruited in the portal, so their options aren't as good. So it's a learning process for all of us.
Mack, do you think that, still trying to process all this stuff here, do you think that this group of transfers will get you from here to here?
Charlie, I'd like to think that our 4 years, the nucleus we have on our team, the fact that we've got one of the best quarterbacks in the country coming back, and the addition of not only the 10 high school guys, because some of them will play because they're more like sophomores when they go through spring practice, and then the addition of the 9 will take us another step. And that's what we talked about yesterday. Not everybody played great, and I'll go over that in a second, for the Oregon game, and we lost with 19 seconds left to a really good team by 1 point. That's how close we are. So come on, guys. Well, we all need to do something better than we've got right now to get where we want to go. So whatever you've done, take it another step. I need to take it another step. Our coaches need to take it another step. We are so close. And that's, you look at what happened. Clemson and Notre Dame beat us by more than 13 points. We beat Pittsburgh and Virginia Tech by more than a few. All other 10 games came down to the last drive. 10 games. We won 7, lost 3. And the disappointing thing is we lost the last 3, so some people wouldn't see it as a great year. It's only the second time we've won 9 games since I left in '97, so it's a great year. It's only the second time we've ever won the Coastal, so it's a great year. Should it have been 12? Yeah, could have been 3. But yeah, could have been 12 just as easily as 3, but we made the plays in 7 of those games at the end. 2 of them we beat handedly, and then we didn't make the plays in 3 of the last 4. But we also played 2 teams that were in the top 10 throughout the year, the last 2 games, and were competitive in both games. The Clemson game doesn't look as good because of turnovers, but it was a more competitive game than the score ended up.
Are there any guys that you brought in, whether high school or in the transfer portal, that you alluded to earlier in the year that were so excited about Drake May's progress that they said we have to come here to UNC?
Oh, there's absolutely no question that people want to play with Drake. And we had calls from receivers all over the country that want to play with him. So he helped us. There's no question.
So for example, the Georgia Tech wide receiver you showed us first, I mean,
Yeah.
he definitely wanted to be able to play with Drake, and that was something that he
Yeah.
loved about it.
Yeah, he watched film all year and friends with Josh and saw what Josh caught 90-something passes this year and missed 4 games and caught 100 last year. So absolutely. And Drake helped us recruit. He got with Pat and looked at video, and he wanted to help recruit those guys.
Is that because they had a player also
players have always helped recruit. And I've had players involved in coaching search before. I've asked them their opinions, and I've actually had some guys that came in to interview have to sit down with the offensive line or somebody else, and then I'd probably take 3 opinions out of the room and just see what they thought, because their opinions do matter.
Mack, I meant to ask you out there at the bowl game. I mean, it was kind of a frazzled night, but wasn't Cam Kelly supposed to play in the bowl game? I thought he said he was going to go to the portal but play in the game.
He decided not to because I told the guys that you can't go visit and miss a meeting or miss a practice. And he really felt like he needed to go look at different places and visit. So I talked to Cam yesterday, and he's all excited about going to grad school at Virginia. And so the whole thing's kind of different. And I told him I was pulling for him for every game but one. But
He didn't go out there with you guys. He
No.
was taking official visits.
No, he decided early that I can't do that. I want to play, but I got to go look. And I said, that's totally fair. And the same with Tony and the same with Storm. They all wanted to go look, and I said, go. That's what this is. Probably next year, what we would do is try not to practice the first weekend that we did, so that would be a chance for the guys in the portal to go look at a place because we'd never done this before. So I had practice and then told them they couldn't go. So guys had to go we let them have an extra day off from the end of practice for Christmas. So that was a chance that they could go visit some places. And then some guys are still visiting. I talked to a couple that were on visits this weekend. But the portal didn't open back up till now. So it's closed after the bowl games. So it makes it difficult for them. So we've got to do a better job of trying to help guys that are going in the portal find an opportunity to go visit that still want to play in the game.
Greg said that. Go ahead.
Throughout your career, I'm sure in coaching, there's always some kind of change you're having to adapt to. But is this moment in time, are there more moving pieces that you've got to factor in than you've ever had?
Absolutely, CL. The last 4 years have been more changes in this business than my other 30 as a head coach. It's just crazy, all the things that are going on. And the people really, the people in charge are looking at it, but they have to look at the schedule for December for coaches. It was just unbelievable that we were dealing with losing coaches, hiring coaches, losing players to the portal, gaining players in the portal, having official visits in the portal, still trying to recruit your high school guys, having a signing date, and getting ready for a bowl game. It's too much. And like I said, I'm in a home in Atlanta when Phil calls me and tells me he's leaving. Bicknell leaves the next day, so I'm preparing for a bowl game. So I got to figure out what to do there. So I called Portolani and said, hey, got some good news and bad news. Good news is you're getting a new title. Bad news is you got to call plays in a week. So good luck. And I thought John, Lilly, and Lonnie did an outstanding job of giving us a chance to win the ball game. They did a great job. I can't even imagine the pressure on them in that short a period of time. And a graduate assistant coaching offensive line. And it was good that Chip, Lindsey, and Randy were with us because they could actually see the kids respond and be in meetings and watching them and listening to them, and the kids saw them. So the kids were less likely to get in the portal knowing that their new coach was here. So that did help, even though they couldn't coach.
And I also want to follow with, how do you recruit high school kids now? So a guy that you may lose in high school, is there kind of, at the end of your conversation, is it like, if it doesn't work out, look at us again later?
CL, they say that. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I've had people say, Coach, just don't give up on me, man. If this doesn't work out, I'd love to come back. There's coaches laugh about it, but if you're playing a group of 5 or an FCS school, walk over and shake the hand of their best player before you walk over and shake the hand of the coach. After the game, hey, man, you look great. So it's just, it's crazy. The whole thing's just crazy. Andrew?
Yeah, heard Sankey said the other day, kind of alluding to what you talked about last month, with moving the signing period back. Do you think there's a lot of wheels in motion to
I think we absolutely should move the signing date back to where it was. And if early enrollees want to sign, let them sign, because they got to have a signing date anyway. But it doesn't have to be on a day. Just let them sign like they used to. And then have it where coaches can't leave their program till after the last game. And then we're not disrupting kids. It's not fair for fans. Bowl games were great. So if people think bowl games are going away, they were better this year than I've ever seen them. There were so many down to the wire, and they were exciting and fun. But it's not fair to the guys to lose their coaches right before a bowl game. It's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to anybody. So to me, do it more like the NFL. You can leave after your last game. Signing dates move back. So if coaches are leaving, then you wouldn't be in a position where you've signed and then your coach leaves right after. And let the transfer portal guys still do what they're doing. Still sign them like we're signing them now, but don't double up with the high school guys and the transfer portal guys and coaches leaving. Let's just put some sense back into this and slow down. The other thing that's happening, and it's sad, we've all talked about recruiting, evaluating, and developing players. I'm really worried that coaches aren't going to be as patient in developing players because they can go get an older one. And that's going to hurt young players on your team, because why wait? If I can get me a starting safety, why wait on a young one to grow up? And that makes it more difficult too. So I'm worried about that for young players, not only high school players, but young players on your team.
Well, back in the past when you all signed maybe 16 to 25 high school players, well now you get in, maybe 10 total and 5 high school players. Where are all the high school players going to go then?
That's the problem, Charlie. I'm seeing high school coaches say, I've got 8 guys that would have signed 2 years ago that aren't signed yet. And they're all anxious and they're all waiting to see if a school doesn't get what they want in the portal, then they'll come back to my guy and sign him right before signing the second signing date. So I do think we'll see more people signing on the second signing date simply because there are going to be more guys that don't have scholarships.
You mentioned before that spring games could change. Are you any closer to maybe making a change here at UNC, and how would that affect fans who want to be able to see a spring game? Would they get to be in practice, or?
Yeah, what we would probably do is have something, fan day, but it's something we've got to look at. And what I'll look at is how many guys will be out for spring, how many people have operations, how many people get hurt in spring. So we may need to set a date with the ACC network that we're going to have something, but not declare it as a spring game until we know that we're going to have enough people and it's a safe environment.
That open practice that you had, that was like students only on the first day of class in August, that's something that you would potentially look at?
Yeah, just something like that to let our fans have a look in the spring.
Are all the transfers on campus still?
Except Tom.
Okay. What's his plan?
I think he's coming tomorrow. You got visa issues and travel issues differently, but
How is it like recruiting him? Like, did you just call him straight away and stuff?
yep.
Who helped meet you out?
Larry Porter knew the people, and Pat knew the people, so it's just different.
Yeah, he didn't see the campus, obviously.
No,
So,
he's never been here.
no visit for you?
Yeah.
Can I pivot a little bit? Last couple of years, there's been talk about needing to be more aggressive and physical in the interior lines. And you bring in coaches, you always hire coaches you hire, for example, and then coaches leave and then it doesn't work out. Where is the balance between who could have done a better job? Following me?
No, I have no clue what you're saying, Art. I think you're saying, why aren't we getting tougher in the 2 lines of scrimmage? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I followed that part. I didn't follow if there's a better guy for you at WCHL, they ought to rotate and get somebody else better in there.
That's what I'm here for.
That's what I heard. That's what Michael's here for. Yeah.
So, I'm saying, like, I'll use Big Mel, for example. You were really high on Big Mel, and then it came over the year, there wasn't
Yeah. Yeah. I think we had much fewer tackles for loss and sacks than we had the previous year. And the guy we had the previous year is coaching for the national championship in the offensive line that we cussed for 3 years tonight. So it's not all coaching. I told the kids yesterday and the coaches we need to take another step as coaches because we've made improvement. This year was much better than last year. To win 9 games in the Coastal as compared to 6 and lose a bowl game, and we lost a bowl game by an awful-looking team instead of a team that played a team that was better than we were down to 19 seconds. So this year was much better than last year. And negative people will say you lost the last 4. Positive people will say you've done something that's been done here twice since '97. So that's just the way life is. But I did tell the offensive lineman yesterday that this will be the 3rd offensive line coach in a year that you've had. So if the one that left for Georgia didn't think you were good, and the one that left for Minnesota or for Wisconsin didn't think you were good, and this one doesn't think you're good, you know, it might all look in the mirror because it gets back to you. But we definitely, I do think part of what we did last year was by scheme. We didn't run the ball as much as I want to, and therefore we weren't as physical because Drake was so good, and we threw the ball so well. And then when we didn't throw it as well at the end, we didn't win as much. So we've got to go back and reestablish a better running game. And I think that's more scheme than players or coaches. And that's something that we can help with. And it's why I hired Randy, because he started the interview with a hat that said run the damn ball. So, I mean, that's what I want. And the reason I hired Chip is I want to keep the same passing game. And this is the passing game that he grew up with. So we've got to incorporate both. And Coach Malzahn's done a tremendous job of running the ball everywhere he's been. And Chip's a Malzahn guy, so he knows how to run the ball, and he and Randy are really good friends. So I didn't want to come in and reinvent the wheel.
When did that come up as an issue with Phil and the balance during the season? Did that gradually?
I don't think we ran the ball as well this year at all, the whole time. And I think we were leaning on Drake so much that we've got to go back and run the ball, because the better defenses we played at the end of the year, the tougher it was to score. And even against Oregon, we were 2 for 4 in the red zone. They were 3 for 4. We missed a field goal. They missed a field goal. Came down to 1 point. So we've just got to go back and reestablish. We did better with tackles for loss and sacks the first 10 games. We did better with red zone scoring the first 10 games. We didn't do as well in the end.
To your knowledge, are all of the running backs coming back? All 6?
As far as I know, Michael, they were all at the meeting last night, and they're all in school this morning. So
I just didn't know.
now, unless you've gotten a call, I keep my phone up here.
I
So
just didn't know if DJ and Elijah had any eligibility left, but I guess we do.
yeah,
Mac, I need to follow up with you about some of the stuff we talked about after the bowl game.
okay.
Along what Art was asking you about.
That was really stupid of me, by the way, to have an off the record that wasn't off the record in the hallway press conference. Every young coach is told, don't ever do that, because it's really stupid. So I was so nice to you all. And I'm glad I don't read what you said, because I'd probably be mad about what you said. So go ahead, Adam.
No, I think I was fair with it.
You all always think you're fair. There's never one that said, boy, I wasn't fair on this article.
Think is the optimal word.
Think, yeah, think is the word.
I felt like it protected us both from a viral moment, maybe. Just along the lines of coaching, I mean, we talked about it out there in San Diego when you said you were going to get with Gene, kind of make an overall assessment on the defensive side of the ball, talk to the guys individually. I mean, do you anticipate making any coaches changes on that side of the ball now that you've gone through the process?
The guys were gone for a week. I really haven't seen them till last night. We had a staff meeting yesterday and a team meeting last night. The guys are at the convention today and tomorrow. So over the next 2 weeks, there's no urgency right now because we don't have recruiting, and that's usually when you have to have an urgency. I'll sit down with Gene. I'll sit down with each coach and Gene together, and then reassess exactly where we are and where we need to go.
So haven't done that yet?
No, I haven't seen them. I mean, again, You worry about their mental health and them being exhausted, and you kill them till the bowl game. You get back and everybody separates. You got to give them a little time off. So they needed a break too.
Do you want to make changes?
I want to win. I want to win all the games with really nice kids that are mean on Saturday afternoon and all graduating. That's what I want to do. I want to win every game. I don't want to win 9 games. That's not what I came back for. And I told them all that last night. We are so close. Why don't we take another step? Why don't we take another step? My job is to figure out what I need to do, what the coaches need to do to take another step. Is that change a coach? Everybody always wants to fire a coach. Is that the right thing to do for us at this time? I've got to make those decisions. Nobody else. And I have more information than anybody else.
How much a part of the process is maybe some of the coaches speaking with other staffs, other opportunities? As far as the next 2 weeks, how you're going to reassess things, when you have these conversations, if there is a coach or two who might be speaking to another program, how does that factor into your conversations?
I've always told our coaches, if you're talking to somebody, just tell me. I never want somebody to stay here that wants to go somewhere else. I want people here that are happy and like it and excited to be here. So if you want to go, just tell me. That's all I want. I don't care. And then and I always say too that I've got to pay you what you're worth to this program for winning. So if they're going to pay you this much and I don't think you're worth that much, then leave. I mean, that's just the way the conversation goes. It's that way. I've told them we're very transparent. My conversations with these coaches will be exactly like they are with you, except more direct and tougher. And I want to get some answers.
Did Longo surprise you, or did you give him that?
No, it totally surprised me.
Tamari Fox, you didn't get anybody in the portal from the defensive line. You lost a couple of guys. He's been here, obviously. Does it kind of like getting a guy from the portal now into the program?
Yeah.
Because he wasn't part of the team?
Yeah, Tamari's really a good player, and I want us to be more aggressive up front, obviously, and he is. He's got explosive power. He can get rid of people. He penetrated. He made plays. It really hurt us last year that he didn't play. And another guy that was really aggressive and penetrated was Ray Vahasek. Really hurt us when we lost Ray. So that was 2 guys. And the guy that played the best throughout the year on the defensive line was Kenan Rucker. And he's explosive. He's powerful. He's the best pass rusher we've got. And he's the guy. In fact, I'll give you these quickly because I know we're about at the end. When your wife texts you and says, "Where are you?" It's not good. Defensively, the 2 guys that played the best in the ball game were Kenan Rucker and Ced Gray. And then the guys that contributed the most other than that, DeAndre Boykins, and obviously Power Eccles' play on the interception gave us a chance to win the game because we had a 14-point swing right before the half. And usually you win the game when you get that swing. Offensively, the best player in the game was Kobe Pesor. And he was sick all week and didn't care. Practiced every day. He had 7 catches for 98 yards, 1 for a touchdown. The top contributors, we're really, really proud of Andre Green. He stepped in when Gavin Blackwell and Antoine Green couldn't play and caught his first touchdown and played great. Also, John Copenhaver, Bryson Nesbitt, Corey Gaynor, Spencer Rollin, and Drake played so good. And we're talking about things, Sam Howell did so well last night. We're so proud of him. But at the same time, Sam wanted Drake to come to the game, and Sam came to a couple of Drake's games, and Drake calls and says, "What do you think?" And I'd have to miss the first meeting, and Drake said, "I don't think I need to miss it, Coach. We got to get better." And I thought, "You're one of our best players. You're one of our top leaders. I don't think you need to go either." And as much as we love Sam and as much as we're proud of him, we got to make individual decisions that are about what's best for this team and taking the next step and winning. And if Drake had gone, then what if Ced Gray had somebody for the Panthers that he wanted to go see? And you just can't do that. So you got to make decisions based on what's best for the team. Special teams, the best players were Drew Little, John Adorno, Obi Agbuna, Jalen Brooks, and George Pettaway. And we're so close to breaking a touchdown on George's kickoff. Other contributors were Deuce Caldwell, Jake Harkleroad, and Gibson McCray. And again, a number of walk-ons in there that helped us a lot during the Oregon game. Other questions as we close?
One quick thought about Tamari. What did he do this past fall? I know he was practicing. Was he a scout team guy? Or?
Yes. He really helped us on scout team because he wore them out now. He was not going to be the guy that stood there and let them block him.
He got quite a few reps doing that.
He did. And then he had his knee cleaned up at the end, so he should be ready for spring.
How many years does he have left? One?
I think one.
So this past year counts against
It counted against him, which I don't think is fair, but that's a rule.
So when you look at the national championship game today, what do you expect to see?
I really haven't studied either one of them enough. You know, everybody's going to think Georgia's got the best players in the country, and they're confident, and they won. I thought it would have been better for TCU if Georgia had blown out Ohio State. That probably got their attention. But TCU is one of those teams that 5-7 last year, and just keep finding ways to win. So it should be fun. We've actually invited players that want to. We redid the Players Lounge for yesterday and opened it for them. And we've invited any of the players that want to come over and watch it with Sally and I to the Players Lounge tonight. So
When you see a team like TCU make it into the playoffs and into the final game, does it say, Carolina, we could be there too?
yes, it gives all of us outside that little group that's been there every year a chance. And TCU's a great example of a 5-7 team that's playing for a national championship. Tulane's a great example of a 2-10 team that came back and ended up 12-2 and beat USC in the Cotton Bowl. So it's all about the preparation. It's all about who plays the best, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to start improving the things that we've got to improve.
Mack, how does you evaluate the program every year? You've been doing this forever. How does the self-evaluation look when you sit down and think, is there anything I can change? I've been doing it for 30 plus years. What can I change and make new this year?
Yeah, Tommy, I'm probably harder on myself than anybody. I am. And I'll ask the coaches to tell me things that they think I need to be doing better and we need to be doing better. I ask each coordinator to sit down and write up what they think they did well and what they can improve, and go through every coach. And then I take those notes, and I take my notes with the coordinators. I take my notes with all the coaches and sit down with them, and they're hard discussions now. I said, you explain to this, I will go over the bowl game with every coach individually and ask them to tell me what they see out of their players. And I said, I'm not going to tell you what I see till you tell me what you see. But I want to know what's out there. So you tell me what that looks like. And you tell me if you could take that video and take it to Charlotte at the convention and use it as a training tape. That's what I want to see. And if it's not, why? Why is your training tape different than your real tape? Because your real tape should be your training tape. So that's what I'm asking them.
Is that the AFCA coaches convention?
Yeah.
And it's in Charlotte?
Yeah, it's in Charlotte.
I figured it'd be in LA.
They don't do that, and I've always thought we should.
Like Final Four basketball.
Yeah, they always have it somewhere different. So, and I think most of our coaches are down there. I'm not going to go. I got too much to do talking about self-evaluation, Tommy. There's nothing I can get in Charlotte that helps us win more games. There is some things I can do here. Anything else? All right, everybody. Happy New Year.